Hey, what is up everyone? It's Rich. Alright, welcome to a video. It's actually a little later in the day than I normally shoot one of these, so I'll be more coherent. Um, I'm taking a sip of coffee. On my Patreon, I have multiple tiers. I have just a basic tip jar that's $1 and gets you full access, but it goes up to lesson tiers. My point is, Jackson Taylor is someone who's been taking lessons from me. He's a great guy. I think I met him on Facebook. He's actually a pretty well-known country singer, and he loves comic books and really had a passion for drawing. And honestly, in about 6 months to a year, Jackson has gone from just basically having a dream, no desk, like nothing set up. He's drawing his own comic book now, penciling, inking, and coloring it, and it looks really good. The guy's come a million miles since his initial just a guy that wants to draw comics and has always enjoyed them. So anyway, I'm doing this for Jackson because he said his big inspiration for his book is Swamp Thing #1. So I thought, hey, you know what? Let's look at Swamp Thing #1. It's kind of dedicating this to Jackson, and it's Bernie Wrightson. So how can we go wrong? So let's do it. Man, I'm really tempted to just do it in this mode, but I'll go full screen. It's just, I hate that it goes backwards. But anyway, so this is the cover for Swamp Thing #1. The comic book is written by Len Wein, and it's drawn by Bernie Wrightson, 1972. Good year for art, man. By the early 60s to probably like 1978, just comic book art and pop culture art really was hitting a real fun stride and a high point in terms of what comic book fans would like. My cat is already spinning around. And don't grab the USB. I'm serious. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't. All right. These cats are such troublemakers. All right, so let's take a look at the cover. I've been going over a lot of anatomy for people, and what I always mention with Bernie Wrightson is Wrightson was a kid who loved eerie and creepy comics and loved Frazetta and really wanted to learn to draw. And so his parents stepped up and signed him up for the famous artist course. And so the famous artist course was a correspondence course that you could take where basically a representative in your area would drive out to your house and bring you these 3 huge binders of study material and review your work. And it had all these different teachers that did different chapters in the book, and they had a group of professors that would review your work and do layovers and send it back. And Wrightson really made a great call for someone who was very self-motivated but also wanted to get an education at the same time. He nailed it. That's why I always recommend Patreon lessons from me. I'm telling you, you should see the growth curve that the people that are taking, like if someone's taken lessons from me, especially in the last like 6 months, I mean, honestly, in one lesson, I can't even believe the improvement these people are making. It's actually phenomenal. But I have a way of teaching that I think is accessible to people. All right, so anyway, this is the first page of the book. This is a beautiful card. I always am blown away when people can draw stuff like this and have it stay so loose, and yet it's fine. I would slave over this, and I would want the tires to be in perfect perspective, and I would want to have it suggested, but it probably wouldn't be, and tightness can be a curse. I was actually going to do a video on clean art, and it was really going to sort of encourage people that are passionate about it to pursue it. But at the same time, tight and clean art can really be a nightmare. So your mileage may vary, as they say. So it's Len Wein, Bernie Wrightson. And this is what I'm pulling these from, is the roots of Swamp Thing. So one of the things that Jackson liked about this was this old school coloring, and I actually like the reproductions in this book quite a bit, because although it doesn't look completely like it's on newsprint, it's damn close if it isn't, and it keeps that look of the color, but you can see how simple it is. But it's the color choices. But like this, you have this beautiful kind of gold color, and then this nice orange to create, some sense of value. And even this, I mean, you've got a little bit of white of the teeth, this sort of fleshy pink, and then a light source. You know, he didn't. There's no bounce light over here. This is pretty simple. I mean, and a lot of times it's really not that accurate. I mean, the light. I mean, I guess the light is coming from this direction here, but it would definitely be hitting some of this, probably some of the masses of the cheek here, because this stuff would stick out just as far as this. This would protrude maybe a little bit more, but this edge would probably be getting it. And again, even in my just generic Patreon, if you come over, I'm doing stuff that will lead into this quite nicely. But yeah, you have to understand your forms. It's so fun. I'm having a blast teaching it, honestly, because it's great going back over the stuff and learning more and more and more. And people always recommend killer stuff to me because it's like, I always say I do this as entertainment, but I think that there's some educational value. But you know, Kevin yesterday recommended that I check out John Byrne's. I know, Kitty, you saw it too. It was pretty good. John Byrne did a short run on Captain America. I believe it's issues 247 to 255, and it's really, really good. I don't know John Byrne's work that good. Only the X-Men stuff, kind of. I know, Kitty. It's a travesty that that's all I know. But, you know, you can't follow every single artist that's great. It's difficult. I do my best. This is nice. The lighting's interesting here, too. It's a little tiny bit of a shame that the colorist didn't do something maybe slightly more dramatic with it. Is heavily lit as this guy is with cast shadows and multiple light sources and stuff like that. It's a bit of a shame that you're only getting a flesh colored skin, or like, you know, this pinkish, you know, Caucasian skin and then a blue background. It's a very, very weird choice for this scene. I think you know, let's try this just for a second. This probably won't work. It'll probably look insane, but let me just see if I can. We'll switch the hue. It's gonna make him look a little crazy. Let's see, and then yeah, it's not gonna work. I don't think I can switch out the color. But anyway, but you know what I mean. It could have even been like dark blue background or something. But this is, you know, I always wonder this, and clearly it goes back a long time. Is if you see something like this in black and white. To me, this is art. It's telling a story. He's telling you what he wants to see. You know, I don't think that the colors really captured it. This is great, though. I love these curved staircases, and this is all very, very cool. And I even like, do you see how this is curved? It's not straight up and down. It's a nice touch. The other thing that I recommend to people, we'll see if Bernie does it. He did even with this panel. It is a little bit rotated. Now, just ignore the borders. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people will draw stuff flat, meaning that they really, really want like a ground plane that's like straight across, and he kind of rotated it a little bit, so it always makes things look nice and kind of dramatic, like a shot like this. He turns the camera so you have this really, really interesting feel to it, like this. You know, fight the urge to do it like this, where this wall is straight up and down. See what I'm saying? Just little things like that. Obviously, the panel wouldn't be so turned, but, you know, this is what you get a lot of is, well, it's tough to put it there because the character's rotated too, but this is nice. I haven't seen this issue in so long. I have all these comics. And this is great. I wish that all these old reproductions printed like this, because this is great. The paper quality is quite white, and you get all that 1970s, 80s goodness of the colors not looking like the books that are bone white, and everything is like, rah! So, this is cool. Little taste of Wrightson's monsters, and this is really, really cool too. It's funny because this reminds me a little bit of like Mike Mignola, Farford and the Grey Mouser, and a little bit of Iron Wolf. Those are great, great books. If you haven't seen, I mean, Iron Wolf I think would probably be a little easier to find, but Farford and the Grey Mouser, or however you say it, and Iron Wolf by Mignola are phenomenal runs that he did. It's one's kind of like a trade. Farford and the Grey Mouser has 4 issues, but it's some of my favorite stuff that he's done. It's really, really good. Mignola's got all these little sort of nooks and crannies in his career pre-Hellboy that have some really, really interesting stuff. He did World of Krypton, some Superman stuff also. I mean, it's kind of the same title. There's the Hellraiser story that he did, a short story that's fantastic. You know, the Legends of the Dark Knight issue that he did he considers it kind of his first stab at a Hellboy type story. I mean, Gotham by Gaslamp obviously has kind of got that too. All right, Kitty, mellow Kitty. I just went to the printer and I have a bunch of art boards printed out and they're sitting on my porch and the wind blew them and it scared her. They're sterilizing in the sunshine. This is nice. This beautiful, beautiful flow of this guy's robe. And this is a great shot too. He moved the camera really, really far down, gives us a nice worm's eye view, and then these creatures come around. It's a very, very clever layout. This is nice too. And again, do you see the juxtaposition, excuse me, of this panel? Like it's at an angle and not straight up and down. You know, young artists, myself included, we all want order in our art. So the temptation is, you know, to have like straight lines, and it's just not comic booky. So think comic booky. You can always rotate your panel a little bit. He does it all the time. Rotate. This is cool, man. This is nice. Again, there's just no dramatic lighting with the color at all. Stuff like this kind of is, but man, I wouldn't want to ever see this recolored though, to be clear, because I think it just never, I don't know, it's a weird thing, but and I also would want the colors to be simple like this. I would just want different colors. You know what's funny is, let me just try this for a second. I just want to see what this does. Let me grab like a color. This is a little trick that Carl Stianda showed me for adding like a little bit of sort of color harmony to a page. Like if you have real fruity colors and you're trying to mellow them out, sometimes you can kind of add like a thing over it. It kind of creates a little bit of mood. It looks weird because it's like the pages aren't white, but, and this might not have been the best choice of color, but it does actually have a little bit more mood though. As funny as that sounds, I'm not crazy about the hue. I think it's a little too warm for something kind of creepy, but we can switch the hue in 1 second, but we'll just look at these panels, the top tier. Okay, and then, I mean, see, doesn't that look better though? It does have a little bit more of a mood to it. It kind of looks like old newsprint, so let's do this. We'll just change the hue a little bit, so maybe a blue. Nah, I think that kind of rests. But you know, you can run other ones. You can also do gradients over it too. But I still think that this sort of locks it in. And you know, the other thing you can do is you can take the eraser tool and pull things out. You want to have either the flow or the opacity kind of low, but you know what I mean? Like if you wanted this hand to pop a little, you kind of just erase that a little bit, and even you can add little highlights on the flesh and stuff. Anyway, I like the inking here. That's really cool. It's very aggressive looking, but it looks cool. It's kind of got a Finch style, like Finch does those chunky blade-like things, like Joe Weems' attack. Joe's stuff was so brutal. He had so much balls in his inks. Like Bat was finesse. Bat was kind of like Scott Williams with these beautiful, you know, like surgically placed things. And Joe Weems had that too, but then he had this like just aggression and just like, man, he was killing it. They both were. They're both phenomenal inkers. Top Cow had great talent across the board. I remember too when Bat took over inking Mark Silvestri from Scott Williams, and I saw the first cover that he inked, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? And I mean, I wasn't even professional, I don't think, at that time. I think I was just a fan. But I was like, damn, this dude just like, he came out of nowhere. He had worked for Harris Comics, I think, before that. I found out later. I think, let me shut this, sorry, and I'll go in full screen mode. But yeah, I was like, that was the first time that I saw his work, and then I kind of found out. I think he had worked professionally maybe a year or two before that. But yeah, man, he came in like a beast. These are cool little figures. It's really nice anatomy too. Really fun. He loves these core shadows. Like, you could definitely see that Kevin Nolan was probably pretty excited about this stuff. This is great right here, man. I love that knee coming out towards us, and then he hits the light on it, and he's got the folds. He was so good. It's really a shame that he passed away. Okay, this might be the end of it. We're only doing one book, so I want to keep it short. But I wanted to do this for Jackson. Jackson's a good guy. He's been working really, really hard on his stuff, and I'm just so blown away by the progress that he's made. So I'm proud of him. Not even as just as his friend, you know. This is all really cool. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, no, there's a few more. This is a nice color panel. See, this I can... this is fine to me. This all looks cool. Once we get a little more moody, though, I would like it a little more moody. A little more moody. The sky blue inside the house and these heavy shadows. How is it lit this extreme and everything else is so bright? You know what, though? The thing is we're just looking at the work. It doesn't necessarily mean that, editorially speaking, they were forcing him to do things that maybe he or she, the colorist, didn't want to do. That is totally possible. That they're like, that's not the way that we do it. You need to pull it more like this. It's too dark. We don't want this to alienate people. So that is a possibility. As a professional, I don't really get that with inks. Although sometimes you can deal with pencilers that are kind of head cases. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, editorially speaking, I've never really had any direction with the inks. Not that I can think of. But I could see as a colorist that you might. They're like, that's too scary, dude. Dudette. This is nice. Nice page. This is all really cool. Oh man, here we go. This has got a little more mood to it. I like this. This is what I'm wanting. This is cool. I don't get this, like, why it always goes to blue, though. This light blue is... That's interesting. It's weird, because for a split second, he almost looks more like a human here. Oh, don't you want to be human? He's sort of like... It's like... It almost is like he has hair here and his face and stuff, or like his body looks different. That's interesting. Yeah, that's a really cool panel. He sort of morphs back into a human for a second. He's like, come on, let me take you to my hidden cave hideout thing. He's like, alright, let's go. I have a key. Do you have a key? He's like, no, I don't have a key. This is your dungeon. Alright. This is a cool shot. I like this. Again, he moves the camera down low. Down low. This is interesting right here. Because the ground plane is right here, and this character almost looks like they're standing. This is a tough shot. Because... it would almost be tempted to have like his knees or something like brush. It would cover up so much of the panel, but you know, like he's sitting here, you'd move him. You'd have to adjust things, but it's a little trippy because this guy's ass is right here, and I don't know where this guy would be exactly because he does look like he's standing to me. But anyway, it looks fine. I'm just always trying to problem solve for other people. So if I see things unusual, I'm kind of keyed in to like see it and at least tell them to be careful of things like that. If it looks good, it looks good. That's the bottom line. That's the fun of comic books is you can draw stuff that's totally wrong and it isn't perspectively correct or anatomically correct or lighting correct. But if it looks good, it looks good. So trust me, I'm very, very aware of that. And in fact, I embrace that magic with comics wholeheartedly. So the rules are meant to be broken. If there are, in fact, rules. There are some drawing rules, though. You can't just do whatever unless it looks good. This is great. This reminds me of like a shot from a movie. It's got that nice feel of like the low camera and, you know, the hordes of things charging the castle kind of thing. This is nice too. This is a great page. Man, this page is all win. People always go, stop moving the page around, Rich. All right, there. There is pause on YouTube. When I zoom in on something, you can just pause it. People don't want to pause. They want to just sit back and let me guide the ride. But don't get too jerky with it. I missed you guys on YouTube. I did. I've just been really busy. It's crazy. This is cool. I remember this, but it's funny. It's like, I don't know if I would have realized that it was in this issue, but yeah, this is cool. Man, if you were like, in 1972, if you bought this comic and saw this stuff, this would probably be very, very just like, man, just what the doctor ordered. If you're into creepy, weird stories with fantasy and a little bit of superhero vibe, this is nice. Oh, this is cool too. I like this a lot. It's funny because this reminds me a little bit of Mark Silvestri's early stuff on X-Men. These are very efficient pages, not overdrawn at all, like perfect amount of detail. And I mean, you know, we know that Mark did a cover like this on it was X-Men, right? Like, I don't remember the issue number, 260, 271? I don't know. Someone will know. I know the piece. I just can't think of the actual issue number. Oh, it would have had to have been a lower number than that because Jim was working on the X-Men by 270s. 252? No, I don't know. I'm just guessing now. I don't know. Look at the dog. He's funny. He's cuter there. Right there, he looks a little weird. He's structureless. No one cares because that dog is so cute. It makes up for that one immediately. This plane's cool. I like this that they're flying with him underneath it. It's gonna suck when they land. He looks like that one actor that was in Tombstone. He has the really low voice. He's not a blonde though. Sam Elliott, is that his name? This is cool. This is funny right here. What's up with this? It's like head, hand. Okay, I think we're almost done. This was cool. This was a really, really good issue. Well, Jackson, I hope that was fun for you. Something to keep you inspired while you're working on your pencils, inks, and colors. Crazy, crazy bastard, you. And, yeah, we got to look at some Wrightson, which is always fun. So, yeah, this is nice. These are some cool pages. This first issue's got a lot of bang for the buck. There's the dog. Whoa, what's he doing to the dog? He's holding the dog back. The dog looks like a wise man with a big mustache. This is cool. This is totally Mark. That's funny. And then people get bothered if I say stuff like that. It just reminds me of something Mark would have done or later might have done, but it's just incidental. It's just blah, blah, blah. Have to say something. That looks the dude from the Planet of the Apes. The orangutan looking one. The face, a little. This is just me. I'm not on drugs or drunk or anything like that. This is just how I think. Oh, goodness. His eye is very red. This is cool. That's nice, too. Her head is very weird shape. Like, her forehead is protruding so far. Yeah, that's crazy looking. He's like, bam! That looks like Mark II. It does, actually. Mark Lee, you know what? It's funny. There's a drawing that Mark did that's very, very similar to that, and I think it's his X-Men. There's that dog again. The dog is funny. He seems wise. Or like he would be a dick. Oh, goodness. Joe Orlando. Okay, that's got to be it. Nope, it's not it. That's the mystical evil hand. Those are cool. Really, really cool anatomy on it, actually. He's really got, like, lots of bones, and it's really good. Man, this is great, too. These curved fingers. He's got it going on. This dude knows how to draw through. This is cool, too. Great angle here. Very loose. The structure is tricky, man. It's a unusual shaped head. He's got kind of like a primate forehead with like a warthog nose. But those can be complex shapes. It's what I kind of recommend to people now is like think like Disney animation. At least set up the simple shapes. It'll help for creatures like animals and stuff like that. Like you can build it up from pretty simple, you know, whatever. What do they call them? Primitives. This is nice. Really cool. See how the eyelid goes over the eyeball? I stress this in my drawing videos for people learning to draw eyes. Don't draw what you see. Draw a ball and put the lid over it in 3D space. If you think of paper as 2D flat, your drawings will look flat. Your drawing form, always. Always. Die, 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 die. It's a tough way to shoot a gun. Yelling, die, 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 die. Why won't you die? If I say it more, maybe it'll happen. It didn't happen, though, for him. He's chatty. It's like he's talking the whole time. Swamp Thing's going to come over and kill him. Stop. Bam. Yeah, I would overwork this car big time. He got in and out in a smart way. I would obsess over this and just be like, the bolts don't look like they're in perspective. The windshield is like, where are the wiper blades? It's a whole thing with me. But I think that if you put yourself through that, then eventually you're able to let it go. This is cool. He could have made this almost a bigger shot, but he didn't really have the room for it. It works how it is, and it's also kind of straight up and down. This is cool, though. He's got enough interesting angles on the rest of the page that it doesn't bug me, but, like, this is great, and this is cool. And then this is a really, really interesting shot. And then he's got this, almost feels like a down shot, even though we're underneath the car. But there's a real sense of almost like 3-point perspective in this that's kind of cool. And then this. So it sort of makes this not feel stiff. If he had a lot of other panels in this that were kind of more, I don't know what you call it, like horizontal and perpendicularly static, it would probably feel worse. He's really good with moving around the camera. If you notice, it's very, very rare that stuff is too flat. And there's our little professor dog again. He needs a monocle. And like a pipe. Jesus Christ. Huh? Okay. There he looks evil. I'm obsessed with the dog now. This is cool. And this is nice too. we won't save the monocle and the pipe. Bam! This is cool. I like the color choices here. I think that the flesh on him should have been affected more by the light. This is cool, but you know, you would never see this color at and this kind of lighting. It would be really probably similar to this, or just it would be affected somehow. So it's a little bit of a shame, because it's like he's outside in the pouring rain, and it looks like it's, you know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then this is the same color. I know they were limited with what they could do, but I think that the range could have been a little more dramatic. I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again in the video. This is nice. This is a lot of pages. I'm assuming that we're going through more than one issue. This must have been 2. This might have been the first 2. Or, you know? Yeah, it was. This is 2 issues. Sorry. Issues 1 and 2. This is nice. I like this a lot. He did that with white paint. It looks great. So this video ended up being way longer than I thought it was going to be. I wanted to be in and out on this. Okay, we're going to start wrapping this up. This is nice. I like this shot a lot. I like how he put us up into the tree, looking down on the scene. It's really, really cool. Hello? Hello? This is cool. I like how he turned this at an interesting angle. There was someone that did a review from me, and they had a scene on like a farm, like outside of a barn, and they needed a little bit of this vibe, I think, at times, you know, like other objects. Oops, sorry. I'm doing this with a mouse, but you know what I mean? Like, throw stuff in that's at different angles. It makes it fun to see, you know, weird stuff popping up. You know, you throw stuff in. Then just keep the lighting kind of consistent, but you know, the more like, and you, the thing is what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to look a certain direction. So this is facing that, and that's why I was saying, you know, you could, like I said, I'm trying to do this with a mouse, but you could, if you had another thing here, it could be, I can just do that. Sorry. But you know what I mean? Have the objects going towards your point of interest. God damn it. You know, everything then is directing the eye to what you want them to see. It's just a little trick. You're the director, so you place your objects. Think like Stanley Kubrick. What would Kubrick do? So you should be asking yourself every page, what would Stanley do? It's kind of a shame that Stanley, he only did so few movies. I wish that he would have done a few more. This is cool, but again, I want to see the skin a different color. Yeah, this is awesome. He did this in another book. It's funny, or I've looked at this page in black and white before. Let me see something really quick. I don't know how good this will work, but I'll try to. Yeah, it's funny. I remember these snake cobra candelabras, but I don't think this was the page. So he may have used this idea in another thing that we went over in one of the other writers. This is cute. I like how cartoony it is. This is all nice. A dog. Okay, we're wrapping this up. Richie gotta go. I got stuff to do. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is really nice. Very, very cool shot. And again, I mean, you can see that he is pointing stuff towards the characters. You know what I mean? Like the everything is going right to this guy's melon. And up here, there's other vanishing points, but the main objects are sending you towards this. This is nice. And again, he turned that angle nice. You see this where it's like, if this was more straightened out, it wouldn't look as cool. You know, try to avoid stuff like that. Even here, do you see how the house is at an angle? And this. And you're not really drawing it different. That's the nice thing, is you're just rotating the panel. Oh, there we go. That's cool. Dark Genesis. Colored by Tatiana Wood, I guess. Tatiana Wood? Okay, you guys have a great day. And I will talk to you all later. And yeah, I'll be back. All right, bye.